Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video I will be discussing new rules for licensing for foreign medical graduates that PMC has released on April 2022. So first of all we need to understand that why these rules are there. Like PMC has already made some rules couple months ago, and those were listing of schools in list A and B or C. So currently PMC is not in WFME, that is a World Federation of Medical Education. So and ECFMG has released new rules for taking USMLE on 2024, and according to that only those schools can take USMLE those were in WFME, and PMC is currently not in that list. So PMC is trying to get into WFME list so that Pakistani schools students can take USMLE in future after 2024. And not just PMC has those rules. Remember, India also has changed their licensing pathway for foreign medical graduates, and India is also not in that list, WFME list. So all of these medical commissions were trying to get WFME accreditation before 2024. So let's get into those rules and let's see if we can find some solutions. Remember last time we have a listing of colleges like green list, gray list or black list, but this time we also have listing of countries like country list 1 and country list 2, and students from country list 1 have higher opportunity and higher chances of getting a license in Pakistan. As well, they also have a higher opportunity to get license in their relevant country. Compared to list 1 countries, list 2 country students have to struggle a little bit to get the license. And most of the students from Pakistan goes to list 2 countries, and they are China, Russia or Kyrgyzstan, and there are many more. So mostly medical students goes to these countries because of low expenses. So licensing pathway 1, person holding a foreign qualification which is recognized by PMC. So yes, MBBS is recognized by PMC, and if the college is in A or B list. So again, granted by a foreign college in list A of colleges, or granted by a college recognized by regulatory authority in list 1 of countries. And yes, MBBS is recognized by foreign authorities of list 1 countries like US, UK. And then they mention and having completed a host job or internship in a foreign institution recognized by the regulatory authority in list 1 of countries. Remember, we can only, those students who are in China can only do internship in China, not host job, because for host job again they will need a visa, and that is not allowed in China. I don't know about other countries like Russia, but as far as Chinese students, it is not possible. And again, here they are talking about list 1 of countries, and we know China and Russia, they are not in list 1 of countries. So I will discuss this point later on in licensing pathway 2 also. So let's continue where we left. Having obtained a foreign license issued by the regulatory authority in list 1 of countries, or having obtained certificate issued by the regulatory authority in list 1 of countries that the person is eligible for grant of license in the relevant country. So to get a license of list 1 country, you have to take those exams, and to get a certificate that you are eligible for their license, again you have to take those exams to get a letter from those countries to qualify for NLE. So the summary of pathway 1 is you should be graduate from list A college, or and you should do a house job or internship in list 1 countries. Remember, China, Kyrgyzstan and Russia are not in list 1 country. So to get internship in list 1 country is not easy. Again, if you will get it through connection, you have to pay a lot of money, because it costs so much money. There are so many expenses in countries like UK or USA, or you have to take those foreign licensing exam like USMLE or PLAB or any other country list one country's exam. Then you will be qualified for NLE. So it is not impossible, but you have to struggle a little bit to get eligibility for NLE. Licensing pathway 2: person holding a foreign qualification which is recognized by PMC, granted by a foreign college in list B of colleges, or granted by a college recognized by the regulatory authority in list 2 of countries, and having completed a house job in foreign institution recognized by the regulatory authority in list 1 or 2 of countries. Again, I mentioned China in the licensing pathway 1, that China does not allow a host job in China, because that will be a probation year, and we cannot get the NMLE eligibility until we do a host job in China. So again, it's not possible for students studying in China to do a host job in China after internship. So again, they mentioned, and having a foreign license issued by a regulatory authority in list 1 and 2 of countries. Again, you have to take list 1 countries exam like USMLE or or PLAB, or list 2 of countries like list 2 countries like NMLE for Chinese graduates. Again, you have to do a host job for get the eligibility for NMLE, and again, host job is not allowed to foreign students. It's not, in a sense, like they do not give visas for house jobs. So the summary of licensing pathway 2 is, first of all, you can try to get your college in list A of colleges, and then you can do a same thing that I mentioned in the summary of licensing pathway 1. Otherwise, you have to take foreign licensing exams to get the eligibility for an NLE. Licensing pathway 3: person holding a foreign qualification which is granted by a public college recognized by the regulatory authority not in list 1 or list 2 of countries. Like countries like Kyrgyzstan, I didn't see in both list 1 and list 2 countries. So they are talking about countries like this, and having completed a host job internship in a foreign institution recognized by regulatory authorities of the relevant country. So I don't know about these countries whether they allow in host job in the countries or not. And having obtained a foreign license issued by the regulatory authority of the relevant country, and if the person obtained their SSC qualification in Pakistan and qualified the MDCAT and obtained an aggregate of 75% on the basis of 50% MDCAT and 50% HSC score, or alternatively, if the person didn't obtain their HSC qualification in Pakistan, then having secured 75% marks on equivalence issued by IBCC. So these were the rules. Again, if they qualify all these 4 steps, then they should be eligible for provisional license to undertake a host job in Pakistan on qualifying the NLE, and shall be granted a full license on completion of their host job in Pakistan. Summary for licensing pathway 3 is, if your country is not in one of those list 1 and list 2 countries, you should try to do an internship in your own institution in foreign, and try to take those exam, foreign licensing exam in your relevant country to get a license. And if you have more than 75% aggregate on MDCAT, then you will be qualified for NLE. Licensing pathway 4: person holding a foreign license issued by a regulatory authority in list 1 or list 2 of countries, and a foreign postgraduate qualification recognized by the PMC and recognized by a regulatory authority in list 1 or list 2 of countries shall be exempted from NLE and shall be granted a full license on verification of their foreign license from the issuing authority and verification of postgraduate qualification from the granting authority. So the summary of licensing pathway 4 is, if you have a foreign license and you did a post graduation on a institution recognized by PMC, then in list 1 or list 2 of country, then will be eligible for the licensing, and you don't have to take NLE, but first PMC will verify your license and your post graduation qualification from the granting authority. Licensing pathway 5. Graduates of a foreign college have qualified pm&dc NEB step 3 prior to 24 September 2020 and shall be granted a provisional license on verification of foreign undergraduate qualification from granting university, and shall upon completion of house job in Pakistan be granted a full license. So the summary of licensing pathway 5 is, actually this is for those who already took pm&dc and maybe they didn't get the license or they didn't apply at that time. So this is for those students who already took NEB step 3 prior to 24 September and 2022, and they will get a provisional license on verifications of their documents, and upon completion of host job they will get a full license. Hopefully until now you understood all of these licensing pathway. I tried my best to simplify it for you, and if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, and goodbye until next time.